Hello everyone and welcome to yet another London vlog. I feel like I was just here, literally when I was on the train from Gatwick, because I flew into Gatwick this morning. I was like, I was just here literally like a week and a half ago, falling asleep of exhaustion and jet lag on this train. But I've arrived in the B&B. I will insert a little kind of tour of the B&B now. So here is the B&B I am staying in. As you can tell, I've already kind of started unpacking, so I've kind of ruined the aesthetic a little bit. It's like an attic studio, but I really like it. It is very, very clean, and it has these two shutters. I can open the other one and obviously close it for sleep. And this little view just looks out over, yeah, not the nicest part of London, but you know, it's a little view. And this, I believe, is a shared balcony, so I am allowed to access that if I want to, but chances are I'm not going to because I'm going to be out most of the time. It has really great storage space as well, which if you're used to coming to London you will know is hard to come by. I want to apologise, my camera is not focusing well recently. I noticed that when I was in Orlando. I think I'm needing to buy a new one. I have had this one for about 5 years, but you can see this has really deep drawers. They've supplied us with some tea, etc. I don't drink tea, but I always appreciate that. It's the little touches. One thing I did appreciate was I noticed when I went to charge my phone, this little selection of books, and I have wanted to read this book for ages and I've just never picked it up. So I feel like this is the perfect time, because obviously it's not going to take very long to read. But I think it's a lovely little bedside table book, so I really appreciate that little touch. And then you can see the bathroom in here, which again, it's clearly just been done up. Very new, very modern, and the best part, very clean. I think you guys can probably tell I am feeling rather tired. I was up at 5, at the airport at 7:30, landed here at 9:30. Couldn't check into this B&B until 4, so I navigated the London Underground, went to the Westfield Mall. If you want to see some clips of that, that'll be over on TikTok. I'll link my TikTok below. In a move that I am potentially going to regret if I'm really still this tired, I booked myself a ticket to go and see Hamilton this evening. Not thinking about the fact that I was up at 5 and it doesn't start until 7:30, so I'm not going to get back until around about midnight. But I am trying very hard to live my life to the philosophy of don't have any regrets. When you're 80, look back, you're going to be glad you did it. The book fair does start at like 9 tomorrow, so I'm going to be pretty tired, but I'm going to love Hamilton. I got a cheap ticket in a great seat because obviously I'm just by myself, so I couldn't really pass it up. Okay, we are heading out to go and see Hamilton. Every time I'm in London, it doesn't matter how many times I do it by myself, navigating the tube terrifies me. And my card got declined when I was trying to buy a coffee earlier. I was able to pay for my Nando's, which I had for lunch with my card, and I was able to do all the tubes, and touch wood, I've never had a problem with tapping in and out for the public transport before. But because it got declined, I'm so worried it's going to decline. And if that's the case, I guess I'm gonna have to get an Uber. So we shall see. My card worked, thank God. And I'm here, I have made it. We have the Apollo Victoria right in front, which is where Wicked is. Seen that twice, would love to see it again. But I'm currently adding to the amount of musicals that I'm seeing, and we are going to see Hamilton, and I'm so excited. So there is the Apollo Victoria, and we've got obviously some London buses, and just over there is Hamilton. Good morning. Welcome to day 1 of the London Book Fair. First off, Hamilton was so good. It was so good. Even though I've watched it multiple times on Disney Plus, there's so many things that you miss that kind of go on in the background with the ensemble, and obviously it's different actors, so they do some things differently. I'm so glad that I went. I was very anxious about navigating London transport by myself. I always get that way. London's a big city. That should be the story of my life. A strong, independent woman who freaks out when she has to do things strong and independently. But it was very, very good. Unfortunately, it is pouring with rain and I need to walk like 20-25 minutes to Olympia London, which is where the book fair is. So I do have an umbrella and a rain jacket, so it should be fine, but my hair is not going to be playing ball by the time I get there. I'm also wearing these little Read More Books earrings that my mum got me for Christmas. I thought they were very appropriate. She even said that when she gave them to me. She was like, oh, you should wear these to the London Book Fair. So yes, very excited. I have a very full day today. I think there's 4 or maybe even 5 talks that I really want to go and see. And I'm also meeting my agent Kira for lunch. So we're coming out of the book fair to have lunch and then going back, and that's like a 25-minute walk as well. I could get a bus, but I operate with my grand's philosophy, which is the time you spend waiting on the bus and then getting the bus, you might as well just walk. So I would really like it if the rain at the very least eases up a little bit, so that I can do that. And I'm also meeting my Italian publishers today, and potentially my German publisher too. Everyone is there. The London Book Fair is huge. Like, most people in publishing are all here for it, so it's gonna be busy. Refreshing my phone all day because we're actually waiting on the announcement coming out. So obviously by the time you're watching this, you will know all about my book deal. You will know that I have publishers. You will know that A Fate Forged in Fire is coming in early 2025. Any relevant links obviously will be left in the description, but as of the current moment of me filming this, we actually still haven't announced it. The announcement is coming out, we were told, beginning of this week. We were all kind of hoping for yesterday, just because that would have given me a little bit more time to kind of dedicate to being on social media and reposting and managing comments and just being active with that. Obviously, if it comes out today, I'm going to be in the middle of the book fair and I'm going to have my mind on other things, which is a bit annoying. But, you know, it's just what we've got to do. So I am refreshing the bookseller constantly because that's the UK announcements page, and also Publishers Marketplace because that is the US one. No, still not. Although, when you search my name on the bookseller, you can see here it says London Book Fair Agents Hot List. Fate Forged in Fire is on it. A Fate Forged in Fire is on it, which is insane to me. So yeah, I'm gonna stop yammering on because I've been talking for 4 minutes. Come to the London Book Fair with me. Let's go. We've made it in. We are damp and already overwhelmed. But we got our badges. Yay! We did. Author and editor. Look at us. Look at us. Who'd have thunk it? This place is massive. Of course, Bloomsbury has like the biggest. I can see Sarah J. Maas from here. Like I can see Crescent City staring at me. But there's mine. There's mine. That talk was so good, actually. I mean, I don't think they said much that we didn't already know, but I think. But I think some people in the audience needed some insight, into it. If you didn't understand Book Talk or Booksta, it was very good. But we are on our way to grab a coffee before we move, right? Yes. Because our next talk isn't for like an hour. Amazing. All right, let's grab some coffee. Coffee has been acquired, and we are going to have a little look around Hachette, but Alessia pointed out to me that publishers are literally having meetings like as we speak, which is insane. Like they're literally deciding which books they're gonna buy right now. See, this is how they get you. They've just got pictures of all their upcoming books. Interestingly enough, when I visited Renegade, I will link that vlog below, they gave me this one, and they also gave me The Potting Shed Murder, which is not gonna focus. Come on, there we go. I've been sneaky. This is the stall for the bookseller. The bookseller announced all new publications and rights that have been bought. So I just asked, I was like, do you have any idea if my book is being announced today? Like, do you know when it's being slated to be put in? Is it today? Is it tomorrow? Is it next day? Because I would like to be able to stop refreshing the page every 20 minutes.
At the IPA that you're facing today that you want to address, particularly in the context of the
That talk was old white men. It can be summed up as old white men. So we have left that talk and we are now going to Author HQ where there's some sort of other social media thing. Look at that. All this for indie authors. Amazing. Amazing. Okay, Author HQ. Let's see. So there's also an author's lounge here. Honestly, I guess people are networking, chatting maybe, using it as like a meetup place.
Creative development at HarperCollins Publishers. We have Kiara, publishing consultant.
The game in book publishing is discoverability, and if people can't discover your books, then they won't be able to read your books. So if you are sitting at home and writing your book for 10 years and not focusing on how to raise your platform and your profile, that could become problematic.
I say it's important to protect yourself. Platforms are quite large and there is a lot of people. Some of your book might not be welcomed by everyone, so it's important that you try to find your community and find a safe space and build a safe space for you to actually share whatever you are writing. And the other thing that I would say is, yes, take it as a fun activity, but it's also part of being an author. And I think if anyone today tells you that that is not necessary, I'm not sure that they're doing you any favors. I think social media is necessary. As Lisa was saying, discoverability is extremely important and you've got an opportunity there. It would be silly not to take it.
I think having the combination of everything we spoke about can help make your life easier and less daunting.
Music that you can use on your videos. So if you don't know what song to choose, Instagram will choose it for you. You can also go on stories and go on reels and you can look up what sounds and music is trending. And if you use that sound and that music and it's trending, you will more likely be discovered by people who are listening and watching videos using that specific song.
That only very young people are on TikTok. I don't think that's true anymore. It might have been like that when it was all like little dances and things like that, but now there's like lots of little pockets that you can tap into, and if your book is relevant, it will really have the potential to blow up. I'm not going to have stats at hand, unfortunately, but we're talking in the millions of sales on TikTok. It only takes one. I want you to think about that. It only takes one of your videos, one of your photos on TikTok to explode, and your book will really, really explode. That would be, in my opinion, the power of that platform. It can be a bit fleeting, is a bit difficult to manage because it's not a mature platform like Instagram and Facebook are. It's a little bit tricky to like predict it. I would say if you can even just repurpose content to that platform, it can be a really good thing to do. And from the point of view of like identifying which platform is good for you.
We want to know more about you and about the behind the scenes topics, I guess. Yeah, and just learn more about it and the process probably as well of being an author. So every aspect that you're comfortable with sharing when it comes to your job will always be with. We also saw that, so I used to work with people in Random House, and we also saw that author-focused content just about the job itself was so popular on social media. So it was a lot of times not even about the books that we're talking about, but just about like in the day of the author.
I don't think it's necessary for everyone to be on TikTok, for every authors. I think in terms of how you engage with people who are on BookTok, so for anyone who doesn't know, so obviously BookTok is like a kind of like sub-community of TikTok, and it's obviously very focused on books. It's really big, it's driven a lot of sales, and it's what a lot of authors are trying to kind of get into. What I would say is that, and I think Gigi was talking about this, people can smell it a mile away if you're trying to sell something, so you've got to be very authentic. But I think in terms of how you engage with that community is just be honest about the fact that you are an author and you probably will be at some point eventually selling something if you're not already, and try to engage, to Lisa's point, with the people there. Please don't reach out. I'm saying this because I'm thinking of a very specific case of someone reaching out with very odd requests. If anyone is in this audience is ready to kind of get reviews and things like that, just be mindful of how you do that. People on Book Talk, especially the big influencers and book talkers, it's their job, so they get paid for that stuff, so you have to be kind of like very targeted. I get a lot of, because I also do content myself, I get a lot of requests from people who clearly have never looked at my page because they ask me to review books that I would never read. It's not...
That talk was really good. That was very helpful, very insightful. Basically had like one professional from each channel, so Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Very, very good insights, and it's also making me quite confident because now I feel like I'm doing what they're saying, so that is helpful. So I've come out of the book fair. I apologise, I'm walking next to a very busy road. And I'm gonna go meet my agent for lunch, even though it means walking 25 minutes in the rain there, 25 minutes in the rain on the way back. I am not about to say no to a free lunch. I'm too early for lunch, so Waterstones has come through, as always, as a shelter from the rain for 15 minutes because I'm soaked. Made it to the restaurant and my husband is going to be so jealous. It's a steak place. Oh god, my mascara is everywhere because of the rain. Yeah, he would really like this restaurant. Sorry, Paul. Next time when you come to London with me for the book release, I'll bring you here. Okay, we've got the title page. Good.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
You can go.
Okay.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah. Just met my Italian publisher and my German publisher, so Marco and Stephanie. Obviously I didn't film anything when I was chatting to them because most of the stuff we're talking about I can't actually, well, I suppose once this vlog comes out I'll finally be able to talk about stuff, but it was nice to meet them. But I know we're like hanging on, all of us, like Stephanie's like, so when's the pub date? I'm like, I don't know. Marco's like, so when's the book coming out? I'm like, I don't know. It's all a question mark at the moment. But we're going to one last seminar before we're throwing, well, I'm throwing in the towel, you've got another one after. And then I'm gonna go out to the B&B and I'm gonna chill because I'm flagging now. Agent's on list. Okay. I don't know what page it's on. We could be here forever. Agent's hot lists. Where's mine? Okay, Curtis Brown. It's you. It's you. Outlander meets Throne of Glass and House of the Dragon in the first of McBride's duology inspired by Scottish myths and customs blending searing romance, political intrigue and elemental magic.
What do you think?
I think being asked would actually be very helpful because it's a difficult discussion to start, and also often it has to be a conversation because, like you both have said, you don't necessarily know what about you is a need that everyone else doesn't need. So I think things like that are always helpful. I think, you know, obviously the trouble lies in relying solely on things like charters and expecting people to follow that or believe in that and not just be ticking boxes. But I do think it would be a nice thing to have.
I worry sometimes though that it might be less it might make it almost a barrier to neurodivergent people if it feels like we have come with like a list of demands that you know the publishing book world have to kind of deal with to publish us, and that is always that constant fear. It's like, what do I need, and how much is that going to cause an impediment to my own success, to my own books? So you know, it's a tricky topic.
So maybe something that is given to everybody, and also because why should you self-label or have a label, or you know, have to hand over your psychological
Because a lot of people are not diagnosed as well, and it's hard now, very hard to get diagnosed. And you can know that you are neurodivergent and not have a piece of paper to say so.
And many authors actually have rituals anyway, even if they don't, or no one else would class them. You know, I remember interviewing Philip Pullman, who was explaining about how he writes. He has to put a margin in every piece of paper, and he has to have different colour pencil for every book. And it's like, you know, I'm sure if he wanted to do these, he'd be able to express them, and he wouldn't have to say anything else. So I think it's really important for publishing to understand that people have things they need in order to make them write and perform.
I think that, you know, if you're writing experience that you understand, then it doesn't matter that you're neurodivergent. The experience is different to someone else's neurodivergent experience. When you've got a neurotypical person writing a neurodivergent experience, that is a million miles away. And I think that there are some situations where, because you can't see it, it's invisible essentially. That when a brain is what creates a book, if that brain is different, then you can't create a book from it if your brain is not also wired that way. So for me, you should have the joy of being as imaginative as you like. And I don't actually mind as much when autistic or ADHD or neurodivergent characters are almost not secondary, but seen from an outside rather than from an inside. Because it's like, okay, that's how you see them. It may not be that accurate, but it's how you see them.
That was a really interesting talk about neurodivergence in authors and writers and in stories. And I was not surprised with the amount that it resonated with me when the author who had autism was talking about hyperfixation and hyperfocus, and the fact that she'll listen to literally one song on repeat. She can write tens of thousands of words in a day. My mom's gonna hate me talking about this because she's like, why do you need to label yourself? But yeah, it's an ongoing conversation I'm having in the background, that's for sure. It's definitely a spectrum. But yeah, it was really interesting to learn how to support neurodivergent authors, and the fact that publishing is being more inclusive, and that the writing of neurodivergent characters should be left to neurodivergent authors. That's a conversation I'm not as brushed up on, but it's definitely sparking other conversations, the right conversations. But I am now heading back to the B&B because I am overwhelmed and exhausted and overstimulated. So yeah, yet another sign, yet another one. That is me back at the B&B, and I may or may not have purchased myself an Easter egg at the Tesco Express, which I will be diving into.